Greetings from the Arise to Live podcast. This is episode 157. Sometimes business owners and their spouses drift apart. Today, Scott talks about how a couples retreat can create focus time on your relationship and create harmony with your business so they both thrive. Part of Arise to Live's mission is to bring a perspective for freedom in both your business and family life. Let's get creative.
In this episode, we switch gears to cover an often overlooked topic, but one that is very important to smooth relationships. The topic is about business owners connecting with their spouse so that they are on the same page with your business, and this is done by having a couples retreat or a getaway. I'll talk about the why and get into the hows that a getaway can create opportunities for your relationships, for your spouse, so both your family and business thrive. Thriving is a good thing. Hello, everyone. My name is Scott Weaver, the Arise to Live business coach, and this episode hopes to bring business owners the clarity, confidence, and freedom to take full control of their business by connecting with life and family. The Arise to Live podcast has a family balance component to it, and this episode is more on the spouse relationship side. Before I go on, I would like to say that this podcast and other videos are now available to listen on YouTube. Just search for Arise to Live on YouTube and please subscribe. The current thinking for that YouTube channel is to have future episodes be released there and slowly go back to release some of the more popular previous episode. That means that the past episodes are not yet on YouTube, but they are available on the website or on the usual streaming services like iTunes and Spotify and Amazon, your phone app. Let me know if there's a particular episode you would like to have on YouTube, and please subscribe to the channel. All right, for you business owners, I'm going to briefly put on my Captain Obvious hat and declare that relationships between your business and your family are very important. It doesn't matter if you're married or not. Family plays a significant role in supporting your entrepreneur efforts. Keeping your own family informed on what you're doing and what your goals are allows them to provide better support on what you're trying to do. Now, most of the time I'm going to be talking about married couples, business owners who are married, but the concept of having a getaway retreat applies to all business owners, regardless whether they're married or not. For you married business owners, your spouse is a business partner, whether they are working in the business or not. Having a common shared vision between your spouse and you, or at least have some harmony, is very important to living a fruitful and happy life. However, getting to a common shared vision is a challenge. This is because the business and the family are different. They are different entities. Yet they overlap in relationships and in finance, and that causes tension and sometimes conflict. One way for business owners to develop a shared vision with their spouse is, as I said before, having a getaway or a retreat to a different place to think over and to talk about where you are, what vision you are striving for, and some of the challenges. This takes a page out of the Power Couples Playbook. Couples who work together for a common purpose can accomplish great things. That's a common purpose, not necessarily a common goal. A key to launch this shared vision is to be intentional about building your relationship with your spouse and family, at the same time being intentional about building up your business. And that is a tough double to do, but it is possible to leverage each one to help the other. The family supports helps your well-being and mental health and your energy, and the finance stuff that the business provides helps the family. So leveraging each other is a good thing. An intentional getaway has the power to set you on the path to success in relationships and in business. So what exactly is this getaway that I keep talking about? Well, first, let me talk about what it is not. It is not some big strategy or complicated business thing, and it's not some lavish vacation, but it's something in between, partially practical so that you can review vision, talk about things, and discover direction, and partially enjoyment of the time with your spouse. It can be anything from a lunch in the park or a picnic in the park to a half day or a weekend escape, or even a whole week at a timeshare. All these places are where your problems are left behind and a place where you can gain perspective. Other names for this getaway is a retreat or couples retreat, working vacation, reconnection time, meditation time, and more. Going on a getaway is nothing new, but too often us business owners just don't find the time until there is a problem. People in other occupations often go to retreats. A quick internet search reveals many different types, such as retreats for military and police spouse support, marriage retreats, religious events, even places for parents with handicapped kids. And there's many, many more. Regardless of what it is called, a getaway is a time to be intentional to reflect, revise, and refresh your relationships with both your spouse and business. It is a time to think about where both of you, where your family, where your business is all going and how you are getting there. For example, last year my wife and I went once a quarter on our own couples retreat. Usually we spent between 3 days to a week depending on the season. The main reason we did this is because of our life's complexity. You see, our current season of life is one of transition. As we've recently moved to a new state, our kids are launching into adulthood, and I have a growing business that has seen pivots and some setbacks. We have a lot of moving parts to keep track of, and it's become extremely important for my wife and I to set aside, to dedicate time to talk about where we are and how we can stay on the same page. These getaways give us a space to think about things and an environment to talk about the more difficult things in our life, difficult things in our business, and ultimately to strengthen our marriage. Now, I understand not everybody is in a season of complexity, but I do suggest that once a year, have a getaway to just get away from the day-to-day life and take a look at the big picture. If you have decided that you're going to do this, and I hope you do, here are some practical steps on how to get the most out of your couple's getaway. These are some guidelines and things to look for, but they're definitely not in the category of must-do things. The key thing is to be intentional. Intentional about your business, intentional about your spouse and family, and intentional about the inner relationship between them. So please take these ideas and then apply them to your particular situation and into your life and business. I can't say what type of spouse business relationship you have, but they usually fall into 3 categories. The first one is separated. Business is business and family is family. The spouse works in one world, but not in the other. The second one is, I just call it together. Both spouses run the business together. For them, the business and life are nearly the same. It's a lifestyle business. Whereas in my case, it's a hybrid. It's a business sort of separated from the family, but not exactly. Each type has strengths and weaknesses. For a separated business-spouse relationship, a getaway addresses the problem of the spouses drifting away from each other towards completely separate lives. Regular getaways are the ability to create and keep a shared vision and actually can invigorate the business side. For those spouses running a business together, the getaway allows them to escape from the day-to-day rut and to communicate their deeper purpose, to revision their vision, and be in an environment, a safe space, if you will, to let out frustrations on how things could be better. And for the hybrid case, like mine, The getaway is our time to stay on track, to clarify any confusion because hybrid is mixed, and resolve any misunderstandings as we go forward to our common future destination. Your relationship will fall into one of these categories. As we go into some of the practical aspects of creating an intentional getaway, consider how you can apply them to your situation. A good getaway starts out with preparation. Not necessarily preparing things, but taking the first step of having a consensus to actually have a getaway. As the football quarterback Russell Wilson says, the separation is in the preparation, meaning to win during the game, you need to have good preparation. A big part of preparing is finding the time to do it. There is always something that prevents business owners from going on a getaway. Work seems always busy, and there is often the fear of taking even a half day off because that would cause harm to the business. I get it. Unfortunately, that means the short-term urgency has higher priority than the long-term success. I encourage you to set aside the feelings of fear and not let the urgent things run your business. It does take willpower to make it happen, but you can do it. When using a compass, if the needle is just a half a degree off course, after 1 mile, you are over 90 feet away from the target. And after a couple miles, that's even more. And this is a big deal if you are sailing close to the shore or you're sailing your business without much slack. Likewise, it is important for the business and life to stay on course. With that said, it's best to wait to schedule a retreat until after your planting season or your harvest season in your business. In other words, when business is a little slower, it's either wintertime or it's in a growing season that you can best take advantage of a retreat. Taking a short getaway is also good practice to prepare your company to run without you. Delegation is key to time freedom, and short getaways can be an opportunity to build up confidence and faith in a new manager or your staff to run things without you, at least in the short term. Or perhaps even on the family side, expanding older kids' responsibility to take care of things like cooking food for themselves and paying a bill or two, and so help their preparation to be an adult. Anyway, the point here is that if you are too busy to take one short getaway in a year, there's a problem with your leadership and you need to take a good look at it. You're running too close to the edge. Another important thing in the preparation for a getaway is not to surprise your spouse. It's been my experience that one of the spouses is really looking for it. They're all excited about it. And the other spouse, let's say, is not so excited. So getting buy-in before leaping to the next step is a good thing. Definitely don't book the place without telling your spouse, and be prepared for some strange looks from your spouse. The object is not to surprise or freak out your spouse about some 20-year life plan in a few hours. Instead, gently start the conversation to get acknowledgement that taking some special time is needed to go over the business vision and its impact on your lives. This includes communicating a heads up on what you're generally thinking and what inputs you are hoping for. And as a side note, definitely don't plan to using the latest and greatest strategy tools. That makes it sound like you're going on a boot camp instead of a retreat. Dreaming about your dreams should be fun, not an ordeal with your spouse. Regarding the logistics of a getaway, pick a place where you can focus on and have fun too. Me personally, I pick outdoor places instead of theme parks. The great outdoors is quieter, has less people, and has more flexible hours than a tourist trap. Of course, set a date that works for both of you and for your family and your business. Everyone is busy, so muster up the willpower to make it happen. It's a good idea to bring a few useful things along the way. From my experience, using a cloud drive to write to and save files to, that's a very good thing and an easy thing to do, because once you get home, it's right there on the cloud and you can easily access everything you've done. Also, bring a power strip and a lamp, because so many hotels and condos are designed for sleeping or entertainment and lack enough light to work in. And if you're planning a little bigger one, about a week before you leave, tell your spouse a little of what you're thinking of talking about with regard to the future, money, and how things are going, and then stop. Don't say any more, because that is what the getaway is for. You're just trying to get your spouse starting to think about things a bit. Many business owners are visionary, and it's usually not the best thing to spring a huge future vision plan on an unaware person, especially your spouse. The day before, that is if you're spending a weekend or more, set up a loose schedule or agenda. Mainly determine when you and your spouse are going to talk about the vision and how the business is impacting your lives. This schedule can be more of a starting line than a rigid day plan. For me personally, I like on the first day, the first morning, to get going. Then it's out of the way and I can enjoy the rest of the time. Often, my wife and I will work during the morning hours and then take a long break in the afternoon to enjoy the place we are staying at. But whatever, do what works for you. And don't be afraid to experiment with a couple things. During the getaway, I suggest that you keep it simple and low key. The topics are huge, but being simple and low key just makes it easier to get through it and to really see the clarity that you need. Just begin with the schedule you set up earlier and start talking and sharing over the things with your spouse on these important topics. Carefully listen and be able to repeat back the major points, like all of them. And look to have a mind meld on the big things, like the vision and the future destination, not so much on the little things. And this is also from experience. As a business owner, be prepared to get some negative feedback and areas you can improve on. I know how hard it is to set aside an ego and pride. Nobody likes their blind spots pointed out, but humbly accepting, or maybe just accepting, another viewpoint increases the chances of getting where you want to go. Remember, you promised a safe place for new ideas and improvements so you can create and update your common vision. So don't worry so much over the how and don't get hung up over the details, as long as the future destination, the vision, is mostly the same. Another thing I've learned and highly recommend, don't forget to have a reward and celebrate afterwards. My wife and I have celebrated with special dinners. At other times, we've had home-cooked steak and wine at our condo overlooking a nice view. The point here is that you and your spouse have worked really hard on creating a shared vision, and you deserve a reward. So definitely celebrate. In closing, I encourage you to create getaway opportunities that allow for focused time and to build a shared vision with your spouse and to create harmony with your business so that they both thrive. It's a time to look at the future direction and for today, for both your relationships and for your company. A lot of good things can happen in the business when you and your spouse are on the same page. That's what power couples do. I will say that having getaways does fall into the quote, soft, unquote, business skills arena, but the time to reflect and revise and refresh on both the family and the business front, that produces good fruit and peaceful profits. These things help build up a strong business foundation and a stronger family relationships with greater purpose and focus. Ultimately, a thriving business and family is the vision of Arise to Live.
This year has brought a lot of changes, But many business owners struggle to find focus time to update their future business destinations, and so start to drift off course. Your future business, your future company, and your employees are so important, you must have a solid vision to where you are leading your company. Scott has a vision story coaching package that speeds up the process and provides accountability on your focus time. If you know that you need to update your vision and where you are going, don't delay anymore. Please reach out to Scott at arisetolive.com/vision and get your company on the right path.